Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Freehold Regional High School District Virtual College Fair. I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening. Just a few housekeeping items before we do get started. There's a Q&A button located at the bottom of your screen, which you can use to ask questions to our presenters at any time. And if you do have a question for a specific college, make sure to mention that college within your question. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. And this is just one of many sessions happening. There is an additional hour after this, so definitely go check those out. And within about a week, this presentation's recording will be available at the same site where you registered. Now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our first institution, which is Loyola University, Maryland.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Clay Myers. I'm one of the assistant directors working in Loyola University, Maryland's Office of Undergraduate Admissions. So very brief introduction from me. I've been working in the office for about 4 years. Before that, I was a student at Loyola, so graduated back in 2017. Been part of the Loyola community in one way or the other for about 8 years. So I can definitely tell you it's an awesome place to go to college. It's an awesome place to call home. To give you an overview of who we are, we're about 4,000 undergraduate students. So we're kind of on the medium end of things in terms of our size. Plenty of schools, much larger, much smaller than us. It's a really nice number for students in that when you're a student at Loyola, when you're walking around to your classes in the morning, to the dining hall for lunch or for dinner, you really can't help but to see at least 5 or 6 other students that you know, that you're able to say hello to, that you're able to strike up a conversation with. There's definitely a real sense of community present at Loyola, but also by that same token, we're still big enough that there's a ton going on. There's a ton of new people. I would say in your own college search process, if you're looking for somewhere a little bit smaller, close-knit, if you're looking for somewhere with a ton of new people, you're able to find both of those aspects on Loyola's campus. Another big thing about us is that we are a Jesuit school. So the Jesuits are a branch of Catholic priests focused on service, focused on learning. They've been around for over 500 years, so they've really stood the test of time when it comes to their education. Their big focus is caring for and educating the whole person. So basically what that means for our students is by the time our students graduate, we want to make sure that they're well-rounded. We want to make sure that they've had a well-rounded academic experience, regardless of what their major is, but also outside the classroom, and just as importantly as academics, we want to make sure students are good communicators, good leaders, good ethical citizens in their professional and their personal lives. Whether you're Catholic, Christian, none of the above, totally fine. You're still able to thrive at Loyola's campus, still able to leave your mark on Loyola's community as well. Now, in terms of our location, we're located in Baltimore, Maryland. So we are located in the Baltimore city limits. We're about 20 minutes north of the immediate downtown area, so it's more of a suburban campus. I think it's kind of the best of both worlds, much like our size, in that students have their own home. It's a lot of green space on campus, but to get into the city of Baltimore, it's only about, again, 20-minute drive away. So students have access to everything that a big city has to offer in terms of not just things to do, but also in terms of professional opportunities as well for students. Now, to give you an idea of what our campus is like, we are very, very residential. So we usually see about 98% of our first-year student body live on campus for their first year, and about 85% of our students will actually elect to live on campus for their entire 4 years. That's kind of untraditional. There's a lot of colleges, universities where, maybe it's kind of expected you're going to go live off campus when you're an upper class student. Not really the case at Loyola. Our residence halls are in the top 10 of the entire country, according to Princeton Review. So we're on Princeton Review's residence halls like palaces list. Not a reason to choose a school, but it is great knowing that wherever you're living is going to be comfortable. It's going to be spacious as well. In terms of what we are known for academics, the larger majors for us include anything in the business world, biology, very big for our students, communication, engineering, education, psychology, speech language hearing sciences, political science, data science, kind of rounding out the top 7 or 8 for us in terms of size, but all in all, over 30 different majors to choose from, over 40 different minors to choose from as well. When you're applying into Loyola, you're applying to the whole university. So you're not applying into these degrees, you're not applying into separate schools at Loyola, it's the whole place. And actually, once you're at Loyola, you will not have to declare your major until after the first semester of your sophomore year. So if you're out there, if you're still a little bit undecided, that is totally fine, it's totally okay. You've got plenty of time to really make that final decision. Average class size across the board is going to be about 20 students. So in the classroom, you're able to get to know your classmates, you're able to get to know your professors. Every single class you're going to have at Loyola is going to be taught by a professor. So you're never going to have any TAs, you're never going to have any graduate students teaching. Person in front of the room, they're an expert in their field, they really, really know what they're talking about. We're also what's considered a teaching university, which basically means that every single professor that is at Loyola is there to teach in some capacity or the other. So yes, some will do research, they'll write books. Their main priority is teaching students. The professors that want to work at Loyola are there because they want to be in front of the room. They're really enthusiastic. They're really, really good at what they're doing as well. Outside the classroom, we have over 200 different clubs, organizations, societies on campus. So on that great big list, it's very, very easy to find your niche. We are Division I for all of our sports. So we are part of the Patriot League, great academic, great athletic conference to be a part of. Big sports for us in the fall, it's our soccer teams. Wintertime, it's basketball teams. This year, we were 1 win away from the NCAA tournament. So, definitely looking forward to seeing what that's, holds for us in future years. Men's, women's lacrosse teams always competing at a national level too. Men's team back in 2016 made the national semifinals. So we did lose in the Final Four. It was a heartbreaker, really tough game. But in that Final Four, we were the smallest school there by thousands and thousands of students. We had the biggest student section present at either of those games. So you're going to find a lot of school pride, going to find a lot of school spirit as well. In terms of what we're looking for our applicants, average GPA for our students that are admitted is about a 3.63 on a 4.0 scale, so roughly an A minus. I always say to students, if you're in the B plus to A minus range, should feel pretty good about your chances of admission. We're also a test optional university, so you can send us in your test scores, you cannot send us in your test scores. Both are going to be equally valid ways of applying. And in terms of placement after graduation, 98% of our graduates have landed a first destination, job, graduate school, year of service, or military service, and really large study abroad programs as well. So about 2/3 of our students will have some sort of study abroad experience before they leave Loyola. Well, my phone timer has just gone off, so I believe I've hit the 6 minutes. But thanks so much for your attention, and hopefully you're now more interested in Loyola. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Up next, we have McDaniel College.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to pull up my slideshow really quickly. Should be sharing. So good evening again. My name is Tariq Evans. I am an admissions counselor at McDaniel College, which is in Westminster, Maryland, so about 45 minutes away from Baltimore. So just to start, some fun facts about McDaniel. Like I said, we're about 35 miles from Baltimore, about an hour and a half, which is 66 miles from Washington, D.C. We are a small liberal arts school with our undergrad population being about 1,800 students, and about 85% of our students live on campus. So we are highly residential, which means there is always something fun going on campus. About 51% of our class of 2024, are students of color. And that's something I really appreciate about McDaniel. As a student of color, I can tell you the percentage was not that high when I started or even when I left McDaniel. So watching not only the diversity be something that keeps increasing and not just a commitment to diversity, but a consistency behind that. And diversity doesn't just end with the race of our students. We also have students that are represented from over 17 states, a number of different countries as well. So we do represent McDaniel in diversity in a very large way. Our average class size is about 17 students, so you do have small class sizes, so your professors really get a chance to get to know you, and you get to know your professors. I'm actually a graduate of McDaniel. I graduated in 2018. I studied English and theater while I was here, and that's one thing I was appreciated, being able to really get to know my professors, and my professors really got to know me, and that did not end in the classroom. Even on campus, when I would give a tour, professors would come up to me and say hi to me. Even the president of the school during my tours would speak to me. So it's nice to know that you have that community feel at McDaniel. We cap all of our classes at 25 students, so you won't have a class larger than that, with a faculty to student ratio 12:1. Most of our professors, 96%, have their highest degree, so they're terminal degrees in their field. So it's very nice to know that they are very knowledgeable in whatever they are teaching. But one thing I like to tell people is how personable our professors are as well. Me being from Atlanta, Georgia, I didn't get to go home for things like Thanksgiving. So it's nice to know that professors would reach out to me and say, hey, Tariq, we don't want you on campus by yourself for Thanksgiving. So you're more than welcome to have Thanksgiving with my family. We'll come get you, come pick you up. So it's nice to know that professors make sure that you are being academically challenged, but making sure that you are adjusting to college. 70 majors and minors, including biology, kinesiology, education, and where you see it says most popular, this does not mean that these are our like biggest majors or the strongest majors. As you see right above it, 96% of our professors have their highest degree. So all of our programs are really strong, but these are where a lot of students tend to go toward. At a liberal arts school, some people think it's straight humanities, but we do have sciences and humanities, but the philosophy behind liberal arts is creating well-rounded students and translating that into well-rounded professionals. So the McDaniel plan includes all of these jargony words, including quantitative reasoning, scientific inquiry, literary analysis. What it basically means is a writing course, a reading course, science course, a math course. And one thing that you heard me say earlier is I studied English and theater. You didn't hear me say anything about science or math, but I did have to take science and math when I attended McDaniel. One thing that I really like about the McDaniel plan is not a one-size-fits-all approach to education at all. I ended up taking a class called Women in Science, which was a study of women in a male-dominated field. So I didn't have to stress about, learning new formulas or possibly blowing up a building. The McDaniel plan is something that is relatively new. It includes these 4 cornerstones, including My Place, which is a 2-day, one-night experience here at McDaniel. So you really get a chance to see the college community in which you're living, stay in the dorm, get a chance to meet professors, take a class. And then we have My Design. It's essentially creating your roadmap, if you will, saying these are the things I'm interested in doing. Students don't have to declare their majors until the end of their sophomore year. So you have these 2 things in place, the My Design and My Place, to really start figuring out and putting your passions into practice with My Experience, which is 2 hands-on learning experiences that are guaranteed and required, but you get them and they're incorporated in your curriculum. This can make some students a little iffy, but it is part of the curriculum. So it's not like you have to go out and do this on your own. And one reason we do the My Experience is because there are some jobs that say you have to have X amount of years of experience before you can start an entry-level position. And it's hard to do that fresh out of college. So while you're getting that hands-on experience, while you're also learning and applying that in the classroom and outside of the classroom is something that helps put you a little ahead of your competition. And then My Career is just finishing off the end of your McDaniel commitment. You're getting and mentoring from faculty, staff, you're getting interviewing skills, resume building skills, so really preparing you for whatever those next steps are. Like I said, there is plenty to do at McDaniel. We have 24 D3 sports, we have 23 intramural sports, we have performing and visual arts, over 80 clubs and organizations, including a Bob Ross Painting Club, Dungeons and Dragons, Humans versus Zombies, and lots of traditions that we have here on campus. A little bit about applying to McDaniel. It is a relatively easy process. We do take the Common App or the McDaniel application, and there is no fee. And then we have all of these wonderful scholarships in order for you to pay for college, which is super important. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. As a reminder to our participants, if you do have questions, definitely don't hesitate to put those into the Q&A below. Up next is Salisbury University.
All right, good evening, everyone. Let me just share my screen real fast. All right, my name is Colin. I'm one of the admissions counselors for Salisbury. I'm from New Jersey. I'm also a Salisbury alum. I graduated in 2017 with a degree in business management and a minor in economics. I'm also going back to school this fall for my MBA, and I'm also from New Jersey originally. So here are some fast facts about the school. Like just about all of us here, we're located in Maryland. We're on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, so if you like the beach. Ocean City, Maryland's only a half hour away. Our mascot is Sammy the Seagull. Our enrollment on campus is just under 8,600 students total. So I call us the Goldilocks School. We're not so big to the point where we're taking buses to get all around campus, but we're not also so small to the point where we're seeing the same people every single day. Our average class size is only 24 students. With a 15-to-1 student to faculty ratio, so we have 15 students. We have 1 full-time faculty member on staff to assist them. There's also different ways to get involved on campus with numerous clubs. And some fun facts is that Baltimore Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti and Purdue Forum CEO Jim Purdue are some of our alumni here at Salisbury. In addition, we also do have 21 Division III teams. We're best known for football and lacrosse, although we've won over 20 titles since the 1990s in just about all of our teams. And we also do have club and intramural sports available as well. So here at Salisbury, we do have 46 majors and 73 minors across 4 schools and 1 college. What I always emphasize about all of our majors here is that they either offer clinical hours, research opportunities, or require an internship, which is great for that working experience before you get that first job out of college. We also do offer study abroad. I know we're in COVID times. Hopefully this winter, our study abroad will be back. The popular times to go abroad are the winter breaks and summer semesters. Our winter break is 6 weeks and our summer break is 3 months. So students like to go abroad and study in another country during those breaks. Popular majors on campus include biology, which is the biggest major on our campus. And that's great for like pre-med, pre-health, pre-dentistry, etc. We have a phenomenal business school. That's where I came from. One of the best nursing programs in the state of Maryland. Exercise science is phenomenal, as is communications and psychology. Now, we do also offer a lot of resources to you as part of your tuition on campus. Most of them are housed in this building on the screen. This is our brand new library. This opened in 2016 when I was a senior, so I got to use it for 1 year, which is pretty awesome. It's one of the biggest libraries in the University System of Maryland school system. And it was also named one of Princeton Review's top 20 libraries in the nation, so it is gorgeous. Now, we have numerous resources like career services, which helps you with resumes, cover letters, interview skills, how to dress for interviews. They also hold job fairs throughout the semester in different fields. If you need tutoring, that's done through the Center for Student Achievement. If you need help with any paper on campus, like for English or another class, you can use their writing center. So on the campus housing, so we do guarantee on-campus housing for 2 years and actually require it as well. So freshman and sophomore year, it is required to live on campus. These are all pictures of other residence halls on campus. So they are really nice places to live. All of our residence halls have been renovated from the last 5 years. So they all have heating and air conditioning. Most of them have carpeting as well. Laundry is also included in your tuition. So they are really nice places to live. They're some of my favorite residence halls that I looked at when I was touring schools myself. We also do offer parking to all students, so even freshmen. So if you want to have a car your freshman year, you can at Salisbury. It's also pretty cheap. It is $75 for the whole year to park on campus, which that's a pretty good rate as well. For transfer students, we don't guarantee housing for transfer students on campus. If you do want to live on campus as a transfer, it's available on a first-come, first-served basis. So onto the food. So we have great food on campus. I had a meal plan all 4 years. Most students have some sort of meal plan all 4 years as well. Our dining hall is buffet style. There's also numerous satellite dining locations like Chick-fil-A. There's a pizza cafe in the business school. So there's lots of good places to eat all around campus. And then these are the application deadline dates. These dates don't change. If you're applying to us next fall or the fall after that, the left-hand side has the application deadline dates. Early decision is a binding agreement, so you're required to attend for the fall semester if you apply early decision. Early action is how I apply to Salisbury, and that is non-binding. So if you're applying to multiple schools, I recommend going that route. And if you're applying to multiple schools, you can use the common application. You submit one application to all the schools you're applying to. The right-hand side has the middle 50% SAT range, ACT range, and GPA. And we are also test optional. So if you don't have test scores, that is okay. And this is what we look for: your high school transcripts. You can send us test scores if you want to. We need at least one letter of recommendation to complete your application. Now, as far as scholarships go, for being from New Jersey, you automatically get a Good Neighbor Scholarship of $6,000 a year off of our out-of-state tuition, which you can see below is $32,370 a year, and that includes room and board, and that's also before the Good Neighbor Scholarship is applied. In addition, we do consider you for any merit-based money automatically based on your GPA. And if you have test scores, we use those test scores as well. And then last but not least, we're open for in-person visits Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. You can sign up on our website, and my information is below. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you for that presentation. Up next, we have Towson University.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Annie Reno, and I am here as the rep for Towson University, specifically the rep for New Jersey. So if you are a student who's thinking about applying to TU, I am your primary point of contact. So if you do have any questions, first slide has my contact information. The last slide will also end with my contact information, since we only have 6 minutes to get all of this information to you. So a little bit about our location. No surprise, we are in Maryland. If we were in your high school tonight, we are about 2.5 hours away. We're right outside of Baltimore. So we're not right in the city. We're about 20 minutes north of Baltimore's Inner Harbor area. So that's about a 20-minute drive, not too bad at all. We are considered a medium to large size school, kind of larger end of medium, with our total enrollment being just under 23,000 or 22,000 total students, but most of those are undergraduate, so students who are looking to earn a bachelor's degree for the first time. We are mostly comprised of Maryland residents. Again, no surprise, we're a Maryland school, but we do have students from all 50 states. New Jersey is one of our most populous out-of-state states for Maryland, and students of all different backgrounds as well. So that's really nice, because you will definitely meet people who are very similar to you in terms of backgrounds, cultures, interests, beliefs, but you'll also meet people who are super different from you. And those are both very good things as you're going through kind of the growing and changing process of being a college student. So this slide gives you a bird's eye view of our campus, which is surprisingly compact for having, 23,000 students trucking through there on a daily basis from one end of campus to the other. So this right here, I'll use my mouse strategically, Stevens Hall. And then if you were to go just off campus, there would be a pedestrian bridge right off this screen that would take you to the West Village Commons side, which is mostly residential. This side of campus is mostly academics. So from end to end, it's maybe a 25-minute walk, and that would be at a leisurely pace. You don't have to worry about power walking to class. But most of our students are spending most of their time on that academic side of campus, where the classroom buildings are all maybe a 3 to 5 minute walk away. So it is nice that we do have a TU shuttle system available for students to use that goes around our campus, also into uptown Towson, as well as downtown Baltimore. But it is nice to know that you don't have to rely on that shuttle system in order to get around. It's nice because you very much get that, classic college campus feeling. There's these open grassy spaces, the red brick buildings. The campus boundaries are pretty clearly defined, but you can see that it's not just our campus and then nothing else. The town of Towson has a lot going on as well, mostly within walking distance. Again, we have those very handy TU shuttle routes in place as well. So within walking distance of our campus, there's the 4-story Towson Mall, there's a 3-story movie theater, tons of restaurants, tons of shopping. Obviously, these photos are all from pre-2020, but it is nice to know that there is really a thriving town outside of the Towson University boundaries. And that's nice for students, whether you are looking for something fun to do on the weekend. Campus has a very vibrant personality. Literally every single weekend of the semester, there's something going on, whether it's trivia night in the Union, it might be a sporting event, it might be a karaoke night. But if you're not interested in what's going on on campus, there's a lot to do off campus. Again, not only in the town of Towson, but in Baltimore. We're about an hour away from Washington, D.C., about 2 hours from Philadelphia, 3 hours from New York City. So lots to do, lots to keep you busy. But also, as you're progressing through your academic career, that also means more places for you to find internship opportunities, research opportunities. If you're thinking about grad school, we're very centrally located on the East Coast, so easy to kind of stay in that mid-Atlantic region. So being near kind of those major metropolitan areas, whether it's for work or for fun, really sets our students up for success once they graduate. So speaking of academics, we do have over 60 majors for students to choose from, housed within 6 different academic colleges. We do have a very strong liberal arts foundation, so no matter what your major is, you do get to take classes within all 6 of our academic colleges. Since we do offer a little bit of everything, we want to make sure that our students graduate knowing a little bit of everything as well. Even though we are a larger school, we also really pride ourselves on the fact that we don't feel as big as we are when it comes to the classroom. So our average class size at TU is only 24 students, and our largest classroom seat less than 100 students. So you are not getting kind of that stereotypical big school experience where you're in a 1,000-person lecture hall. Instead, usually the largest class sizes our students see is maybe 50 to 60 people or so. And those class sizes do get smaller and smaller as you progress through your major specific requirements. Outside of the classroom, as you can see, we also have a lot of different support systems in place for students. You'll have an academic advisor to kind of keep an eye on you for your first year, make sure you're really aware that these resources resources exist from your very first day on campus. So if you are struggling with academics or with something else, your academic advisor, like I said, is really kind of your first line of defense to make sure you are taking advantage of that. Again, I mentioned that you get that small school experience in our classrooms when it matters, but we are a larger school, so you get the fun parts of being at a big school as well. We are D1 for athletics. We have 19 varsity teams, about 40 different club and intramural teams, and then about 250 different student clubs and organizations. So everything from academic honor societies to Greek life, community service groups, cultural groups, religious groups. So chances are, if there's something you're currently involved in on campus, we most likely have a very similar club for you already. So this slide has a lot of information. I would recommend taking a picture of this since we only have a few minutes to talk about it. As a freshman, our application process is pretty straightforward, similar to a lot of the other schools. I do want to highlight that we are test optional for students through fall 2022. So any juniors joining us today are not required to send SAT or ACT scores. Students beyond 2020, still TBD, but certainly we will keep our students and our counselors updated as a final decision is made. Finally, that was a lot of information in a very short amount of time. There are other ways to learn about TU. We would encourage you to sign up for one of our virtual information sessions, which covers all of that in a lot more detail. Again, my name is Annie. I am your admissions counselor. If you do have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you so much for that presentation. As a final reminder to our attendees, there is a Q&A button below, which you can use to ask questions as we go through the next few sessions. Up next, we have University of Maryland College Park.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan Fields. I'm a admissions counselor here at the University of Maryland. So I'll just give you a little bit of fun facts and kind of basic information about kind of what we have. So our location, so we're located in College Park, Maryland. So we're about 15 to 20 minutes outside of DC. The great thing is it is very accessible to be able to go in town and go into DC. A lot of different things you can do. We do have a metro system that's within walking distance from campus. So I would say probably about 15, probably like 10 to 15 minutes away from campus. And it allows you to travel through the tri-state area between DC, Maryland, and Virginia, which is awesome. So a lot of great opportunity that you can have it there. Of course, as we are so close to DC, one of the great things that comes with that is a lot of great job opportunities and internships that come available. So a lot of big time corporations come and seek out our students and offer them internships as well as jobs upon them looking to graduate. So there's a lot of connections there between that DC area and College Park, which is great. So we are a big campus. So we have over 30,000 students with a little over 10,000 graduate students. So in total, you're looking at around 40,000 students. So very big campus. Our campus is about 3,300 acres in total. So the space is plentiful, so you don't have to worry about being on top of each other while actually walking around and navigating on campus. We are in the Big Ten, so we're competing with schools like Michigan, Michigan State, Rutgers, Penn State, Iowa, Illinois. So a lot of school spirit that follows with our sports teams, of course. So we have 19 Division I NCAA teams. So a lot of students love to go to the games, love to support our teams in their quest for national championships. So we have over 90 different majors and 70 different minors. So there's plenty to choose from as far as what you may have a choice in or what you have an interest in. One of the great things is a lot of our students actually do choose a double major. So it's not uncommon. So if that's something that you would like to do, by all means, you can do so. You can also come in undecided if you choose so. You have 2 years before you have to declare a major, and we just set those parameters in line so that students don't fall behind in their track record in order to graduate on time or graduate in that traditional 4-year time span. We also do have some majors that are known as our LEP. So these are our most popular majors, which are engineering, bio, business, computer science, government and politics, and there's about 6 others that are part of that LEP program. So LEPs are known as limited enrollment programs. So what these programs are designed is there's some of, like I said, there's some of our more popular majors on campus. So we kind of have to regulate the amount of students and the type of students that are being admitted into these said programs. So you can find information on our LEPs at lep.umd.edu, and it'll kind of give you the breakdown and kind of what each major is and what LEPs you may be interested in. Moving into our campus and clubs and organizations. So we have over 800 plus clubs and organizations that we have on campus. So the likelihood of you having an interest in one of the clubs or organizations, there probably is one for it. So it's a great way to really get involved on campus and kind of collaborate with other students. should you all share the same interests, and you can kind of build that little small cohort and small community within the big community on campus, which is great. We do take great pride in deal in our diversity. So we have 45.8% students of color. So there's a lot of cultural diversity that you have on campus. We also have over 5,000 students represented from international spaces. So there's going to be a lot of great opportunity for you to kind of see some different realms and different ideas and some cultural immersion that be going on campus. So it's kind of opens your eyes a little bit about what the world kind of holds outside of maybe where you're from or just with outside the University of Maryland. Moving into our alumni network, we have over 388,000 alumni in that network. So it's a huge network. There's going to be a lot of connections, a lot of ways to build networks and things like that. So alumni is a great way to really reach out and potentially help you in future positions, future internships, and things of that nature. And of course, everybody loves University of Maryland. So, when you see another University of Maryland student, they want to help them as much as they possibly can. So that alumni network is very great to have in your corner. Moving into our applications. So we have we have Coalition and the Common App. So we are actually on 2 application platforms. So feel free to use either or platform that you feel comfortable with. It's totally up to your preference. The great thing about being on both platforms is more than likely there's probably at least a couple other schools that you're applying to are going to be on one of the said platforms. So it kind of makes your process easier. I would always give the suggestion that, whichever platform has the more schools that you're applying to, that's probably the platform it'd be best to use. So that makes your process a little bit seamless. Moving into our deadline. So we have November 1st, which is our early action deadline, and then our January 20th, which is our regular decision. November 1st is the deadline that you need to target if you don't take anything else away from this small presentation. By applying by early action November 1st, you're automatically considered for priority consideration to the university along with merit scholarships and our special programs. So I like to say you get your best bang for your buck for that by applying by that early action deadline, as that's where you get the consideration for everything. We take majority of our class from that early action deadline. So make sure you keep that in mind. If for some reason you're not able to complete their application by the early action deadline, the next deadline would be our regular decision, which would be January 20th. So that regular decision deadline is a little bit more tingent. It's very tight. Like I said, we take majority of that class from the early action deadline. So regular is going to be a very tight knit in what we're actually deeming a student to be admissible. Moving into our profile. So most of the students that are admitted are going to have primarily A's and B's with a few maybe C's, but primarily A's and B's. And then last but not least, we are test optional for the spring and the fall of 2022 and 2023.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Our final college for this session is Lafayette College.
I feel like you folks are getting a lot of information in shortest amount of time. But hello, folks. My name is Jade. I'm an assistant director of admissions at Lafayette College. I'm also a 2016 graduate. I majored in psychology with a concentration in neuroscience, so more naturally science focused. Lafayette College is an awesome school, obviously, but I'm going to share some things about the college. And so the number one thing is that we are a small private liberal arts school. We're located in Easton, Pennsylvania. And this is where I'm going to try to be really quick and snazzy with my, computer skills. And so over here, you're going to see the page of where we're located. Easton, Pennsylvania is about an hour and a half roughly from where you folks are. I'm actually a Monmouth County resident. I grew up in the Monmouth County area, so I'm very familiar with the area. I was the class of 2012 RBR, so go Bucks. And so for Lafayette, we're not too far from you folks. We're about an hour and a half. We're also about an hour and a half north of Philadelphia and an hour and a half west of New York City. So that geographical sweet spot. This photo that you're looking at right now is actually the downtown Easton. And if you look at the very top of the photo, you'll see some buildings hidden amongst the treetops, and that is Lafayette College. To go from Lafayette straight down to the center city of Easton takes about maybe a 15-20 minute walk. It does take a little bit longer to go up the hill because you're going up the hill, but it's not too bad. And so we also have a shuttle that takes students up and down the hill, whether for classes or just for easy leisure. When you think about Lafayette, we are a small private liberal arts school, and I mentioned before. Let me just stop that share. Okay. And so we have 4 main academic divisions. We are engineering is the most popular division on campus. It takes about a quarter of our students. We offer 6 disciplines of engineering, whether it's mechanical, electrical, civil, engineering studies, electrical and computer, or a Bachelor of Science in Engineering. One of the most unique things about our engineering program is that we do allow our students to study abroad. So if you want to go to Bonn, Germany, or Madrid, Spain, you can still graduate in 4 years with a better accreditation. Outside of engineering, our most popular major is actually economics, psychology, government law, and it trickles down from there. When you apply to Lafayette, you're just applying to the institution. You're not applying to a specific major. And that's something that's at the core of Lafayette because we don't believe that you should be married to your major. So you have the academic flexibility to really embrace our motto of, here we are, current on, of why not? So why not do things that you're interested in? Why not take a neuroscience class, but also a history class and not be married to your major or be in the academic silo? And so you have a lot of academic flexibility. Students really take advantage of that by doing research or doing other internships with our professors. And so we have over 50% of our students taking advantage of research opportunities. You can do research as early as freshman year, as simple as going up to your professor, asking, hey, Dr. Gable, hey, Dr. Shaw, do you have any room in your lab? Majority of the time, they're going to say yes, because Lafayette is a strictly undergraduate institution, and all of our faculty members are required to do active research while they're also in conjunction teaching. And so there's plenty of research opportunities. I just spoke with one of my students today who was recently published, and now she's representing us at the Lehigh Valley Neuroscience Conference next weekend, which I'm very excited about. And so there's a lot of opportunities for students to take on research and really have that leg up when they go into graduate school or when they're looking for employment. When you think about the student body, we are 50-50 in terms of men and female. Around 12% of our students are first generation. Around 27% of students are individuals of color. We span from around 27 US countries and I'm sorry, 33 US states and 27 US countries. Getting so tongue-tied today. And so we do have a great diversity of students on our campus that are hailing from all different areas. When you think about the student life on campus, we have just under 200 clubs and organizations. So for a population of roughly around 2,600 students, that is a lot of involvement. And all these clubs and organizations are student run. And so there's a lot of ways for students to get involved, whether through leadership or just expanding their interests. And so you can participate in any of the community engagement organizations or maybe social, whether it's Greek organizations, whether it's religious and multicultural organizations. But one of the big things that our students really participate in is our biggest tradition, which is the Lafayette Lehigh rivalry. We have a lot of school spirit on campus because of the tight-knit community. And so we are Division I in 23 varsity teams. If you're interested in being recruited as a Division I athlete, certainly start that recruitment process with our coaches. But going back to the Lafayette Lehigh rivalry, we are very big in terms of that as our biggest tradition. And so we actually just recently won this past weekend, beating Lehigh, which we're very excited about. So we're kind of getting off the high. And so that's something that really brings the whole campus community together. When you think about admissions and financial aid, so we are part of the Common Application. A really fun fact is that we're actually one of the original creators of the Common Application, which is kind of cool. I mean, that's just a nerdy fact for admissions folks, but we do take the Common Application. And so when you think about the deadlines are important. I know it's a little early for you folks right now, but certainly when you get into the summer and the fall, our deadlines are either early decision on November 15th or regular decision on January 15th. We do have an early decision 2 deadline, which is still binding. And that's for folks who maybe needed more time to think about an early decision, or maybe just didn't get into the early decision 1 school. And so from there, you have a little bit later deadline. But all applications are due by February 1st. With regards to financial aid, we do meet 100% need-based aid for families. And so same thing with the admissions application, you do have to submit everything by the deadline. And then with regards to visits, Lafayette is open for in-person visits. So I know that an hour and a half is not too far from you folks. So if you are interested in visiting the campus, we are open. You do have to register ahead of time so that we can keep count of COVID cases just in case something happens, or we can just keep account for how many visitors we have on campus. If you have any questions or if you want to learn more, I know 6 minutes is not a lot of time to get to know all these institutions. So I definitely encourage you folks to take some time to ask us any questions in the chat feature, or even just email us afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all my presenters for giving us a lot more information about your institutions. I do have some questions from schools about your information. So if any schools want to go ahead and drop their contact info in the chat while I pull up my slide, definitely do that now. So we are actually going to have our presenters answer a question for you guys, which is, what is your favorite event or tradition on your campus? And we'll go in presentation order. So we will start with Loyola University, Maryland.
All right. Hey, everybody. So yeah, favorite event or tradition, there really are plenty. We're really excited to bring back some of our larger scale events on campus for next spring. One of the biggest ones is going to be Loyola. So it's our huge concert celebration that we have at the end of the year. Bringing a lot of pretty good musical acts. So previous years, we've had T-Pain, Sean Paul, the All-American Rejects. Probably my favorite, though, is just the speakers that we get on Loyola's campus. So in previous years, we had a Nobel laureate in physics come in to speak about the nature of the universe. It's pretty mind-blowing. We had the director of communication for Under Armour come in to speak about some of the challenges that Under Armour faced when they were just getting started. And we also had the Olympian Gabby Douglas come in to speak with students as well. So these are really kind of exciting events to keep an eye out for, even if it's a regular, Tuesday or Wednesday on Loyola's campus.
McDaniel College.
Yeah, so one of my favorite traditions that we have at McDaniel is called the ring in, ring out tradition. So what it is when students enter McDaniel their first year, there is an orientation and they walk around campus and they end at this bell that's in the middle of campus, and they physically and symbolically ring in their time at McDaniel. After you graduate, you come out with your fellow graduates and your family, friends, and whomever came with you to graduation, and you ring out your time at McDaniel. The legend is if you don't ring in, then you don't ring out. I don't know how much that's true because I came back, but it is a really cool tradition that we have at McDaniel.
Salisbury University.
So two of mine, one community service space, which is called the Big Event, where all of our clubs and organizations come out and do community service work for the community in Salisbury, which is awesome. Second one is for athletics. It's called War on the Shore. It's the men's lacrosse game between us and Washington College. So the two colleges on the Eastern Shore of Maryland come together and hash it out.
Towson University.
My very favorite day on campus is TU4U, which is our admitted student day. We're just coming off of our second virtual TU4U in a row, so really looking forward to next year being able to welcome all of our new admitted students to campus. That's your day to really talk to the admissions office, talk to all of our academic departments, meet with other students who are newly admitted or who are current TU students, kind of our favorite day of the year here in the admissions office, and hopefully we'll see all of you there next April.
University of Maryland, College Park.
Yes. Favorite event or tradition? I would probably say the biggest, I think the tradition I really like the most is we have a thing where students rub Testudo's nose for good luck. So Testudo is our campus mascot. And so students are often, giving it gifts and things like that around finals time, or, giving offerings and things like that. So it's like a cool tradition and a lot of stories that I've heard from students about that, doing that on campus. So I think it's great.
And Lafayette College.
So I'm not going to talk about the rivalry, but one of my favorite traditions as an alum is the 1,100. So in freshman year, there's just a few weeks after orientation, there's a 1,000-nights dance. And so the whole freshman class gets together and just has a nice winter dance. And then senior year, in the beginning of the spring semester, we have the 100 nights. And so it's 100 nights before graduation. It's off campus in a nicer venue. And it's just really nice because you visibly see all the relationships you formed, all the people you've connected with. And it's just a bittersweet moment. It's also a moment where you realize, oh my gosh, I have 100 nights before graduation. And so seniors start to get things kicking a little bit quickly after that, but it's one of my favorite traditions.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide us. Also, there is another hour of sessions after this, so go check those out for more college information sessions. And in about a week, you'll be able to find the sessions recording at the same site where you registered. Again, thank you for joining us and have a great evening.